since I've opened the business too, I've had even people come into the door assuming that I was an Indian restaurant.
But what's the difference between an American sandwich or like a New York style sandwich and like, let's say, a French one or a European one?
Well, for starters, the size. The size. We're brilliant. Never overrated. Okay, mayonnaise is key.
Okay, so let's see. Who's your food hero?
Food hero, this guy right here, man. Come on, this is where all the inspiration comes from, man.
What's the best pairing in Bordeaux to have with a sandwich? Is that beer? Is that wine or a soda?
You want to go or should I go?
Hi everyone and welcome to the show. So today we're in Bordeaux and I'm with Sid and his dad Marc. So, well, a Frenchman and an US-born New Yorker who made it to France and opened up the restaurant. Sid and Marc, welcome to the show.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. Yeah, excited to do this.
Well, you're welcome. Sid, I think you've just opened recently a restaurant that you've called Sid's Deli.
Yes. We've been open for about 2 months now. And we are the first 100% sandwicherie américaine in Bordeaux, Deli.
American-style sandwich.
American-style sandwiches, yes. We specialize in all the main classic sandwiches that you find on the East Coast of the United States, mainly New York and Philadelphia.
Okay, and also here in Bordeaux, okay. I have a burning question because as a Frenchman, I must admit, I saw the name, Sid's Deli, and I was like, oh, okay, what does deli mean? I was like, maybe it means it's delicious.
Yeah.
But apparently you told me otherwise.
Yeah. And that's funny because I wasn't expecting that when I opened it. I was under the impression that the French people knew of the word deli, but they didn't. And it's funny that you mentioned that too because since I've opened the business too, I've had even people come into the door assuming that I was an Indian restaurant. And I thought that was crazy to me, but it makes sense. New Delhi, I guess, yeah, they mix that up, it happens. But what is a deli? So a deli, well, from the perspective of an American, a deli is a classic place where you can go and order a sandwich, and you usually have a wide variety of sandwiches. But it's not just that; it's also a place where you can, where they make, prepared dishes. They make, they can pre-slice charcuterie for you, prosciutto, salami, ham, and you can take it home to make sandwiches for yourself.
Well, this is interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of a shop and a restaurant at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Mainly takeaway. But they also usually typically have tables where you can eat sur place. But it's mainly a takeaway sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And so originally, you were born in New York City, but your dad is French.
Yeah.
And so you went to the US.
I was born in the south of France, so next to Toulouse, in a town called Montauban.
Oh, nice.
So it's a little bit out of the way, a little bit. It's not a big city.
Yeah, for me it is.
And, so I did, I did my cooking school for 3 years. And then after that, I, kind of moved around a little bit in Europe. I went to Denmark, I ended up in Paris. I started working in the French Riviera in three Michelin-Star restaurant with a chef very well known at the time. It was Roger Verger. We were really connected with the rest of the world as far as French restoration, with Paul Bocuse and all these big name. And at the end of the season, because in the French Riviera by September, October, everything is shut down. He used to send us a little bit all over the world, and he asked me if I wanted to go to New York. They were opening a restaurant, and I said,
"Oh, nice."
I was 22 years old at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Get a visa for me, and I'm gone. And that's how it all started. I'm working in New York for a while.
And you've been a chef in the US?
No, I was a cook at the time.
Cook,
I was a chef de partie, and that's what I ended up working with, Daniel Boulu and all these big guys. Then after that, I have to come back to France because I have to do my army. And then, I was offered a post in Palais de l'Élysée as a cook, which,
Macron's place? I mean,
well,
at the time it was not Macron.
At the time it was Mitterrand, it was François Mitterrand. But, I did end up serving, did my army in the Palais de l'Élysée,
That-
which was great for me because it was
There's a worse fate.
well, it was a completely different style of cooking than I was doing. I was doing, high-end French cooking, and I arrived in a place where it was very, what they call la cuisine bourgeoise,
Very
so,
fancy. Yeah.
So from there, after I, ended up working in Paris at Michel-Rostand, which it was a 2-star Michelin at the time, and
So like the Elysium basically is like a Michelin-Star restaurant,
Yeah.
but private
Yeah.
for the president. and
the
his-
elites, yes, of
yeah. I
course.
mean, we cook for the president of
Yeah,
the world, I mean, whoever was coming to France, we were in charge of, voila. And then, after that, I have to come back to the US. I was called back to the US. I ended up going back to the US and pretty much work in the US, at
And you
the
stayed there
Cirque
for,
in New York, at Taverne on the Green, Maxime de Paris. I was the chef at Maxime de Paris, which was a very French, institution on Madison Avenue. And, I ended up, doing my entire career in the US, pretty much, spending all the time there.
Yeah, you spent like 40 years in the US?
Yeah, almost 40 years, yeah. I mean, I did the last 10 years in Las Vegas, I opened the Bellagio, I opened the Wynn Resort, I did Le Cirque in the Bellagio, Trattoria del Circo aussi. So I did French and Italian. I was in charge of both of the places.
And you survived because like there's a bit of a
Yeah,
rivalry.
Originally, I was there for a year, just to open and put the machine on, and I ended up, when it was time for me to go back to New York, it was, no, you have to stay. So I'm like, okay. They make me an offer I couldn't refuse. So.
That's good, that's good.
And then, all my sons, were born and raised in that atmosphere of restaurant, and we were going out all the time in restaurant. They were even, at 6 years old or 7 years old, they were already eating sushis and sashimis,
I'm a bit snobby with my food, I have to admit.
Because
yeah.
for me, I always have to go see what was new, what was successful at the time. So they grew up in that environment. So
Yeah, in a multicultural also kind of culture.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know about that, but like, so you say you're doing like the American style sandwiches, but what's the difference between an American sandwich or like a New York style sandwich and like, let's say a French one or a European one?
Oof, I mean, where do we begin? Well, for starters, the size. The size. Our sandwiches are typically a lot bigger, but also, I'd say in the United States you have a lot more variety in the types of sandwiches you can have. Just because, obviously for starters, the United States is a country of immigrants, so we have people that come from all over the world that bring their own recipes, their own origins, and we're a big sandwich culture. So we, in the United States, if we could put something between two slices of bread, we'll do it. So as a result of that, you have just different styles of sandwiches that come from all over the place. Especially from Italian backgrounds. You have sandwiches from Asian backgrounds. Even Jewish backgrounds as well.
Yeah, Mexican,
one of the most
Jewish, all kind of, it's a mix of culture, and we call them American sandwich. They're not really American. They're people who, like you said, it's a cultural thing, I mean, if you do
But the melting pot.
tomato, mozzarella,
exactly.
prosciutto, it's obviously has an Italian flair on it, But American people love that, I mean, they into all kind of culture. In the U.S., one day you go eat Mexican, the next day you go eat Italian, the other day you go eat French, and it's a mix of
and I think it also
culture,
it also stems from the fact that we're, especially in the cities, where we're very fast, we're always on the go, we take all our food emporté, take away. And I think that's where the sandwich culture kind of evolved from there, because we need something handheld where you can eat on the go.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you have all these people come all over the place, they have their own styles. For example, in Italy, I'm sure they're not eating chicken parm sandwiches or Italian beef sandwiches, but these were Italians that came to the United States and created this mode as well. And or you have the Jewish part as well with their famous pastrami sandwiches, which is right now in France is vraiment à la mode. Everyone is obsessed with pastrami now.
What's your like signature sandwich? Like you have like Philly?
Yeah, so right now our two biggest sandwiches right now are the Philly cheesesteak, which is the signature sandwich of Philadelphia. That's their pride and joy over there. And it's a great sandwich. I mean, you have...
What's the reaction of like a typical French that first have this one?
I'd say they're always, they're usually shocked or they're surprised at how good it is. But in all seriousness, I think, well, for starters, when French people typically go into an American place, I think they're expecting more of a fast food, junk food type experience. And when they see that there's a sandwich that exists with a New York strip steak and, onions and peppers and provolone cheese, which is also a cheese that's not very well known here. People don't know provolone cheese, so that's another thing that usually draws their eye, and they typically ask me what that is. And I explain it to them, or I usually just give them a little sample. They can taste it
French are
themselves.
curious about food, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, the French, that's one thing you guys love. And you're also very good at it yourself. I mean, the French cuisine
There's two
is
reactions,
the best in the world.
You got the French who react, and then we have also American who comes to the store.
yeah.
We have a few typical American from the East Coast too, and they compare, what they have in Philadelphia and what they have here. And they're surprised. They said, wow, I mean, your version of the Philly, it's pretty impressive, And I mean, if you look at all the reviews that we have so far, where people give their opinion, it's pretty positive so far.
Actually, well, I want to ask like a cheeky question then. What do you think would be the most popular sandwich on your menu if the restaurant was in New York City? And what would be the most popular, what is the most popular you have actually in France?
Okay, so that one's a little bit complicated because, what we have on the menu isn't, it wouldn't be anything special in New York because you have, hundreds of delis that propose the same exact thing. So, if I was in New York City, one, it would depend on the location. If I'm in a convenient location, or I have a lot of, people that live near the area that are looking for something fast, quick, easy to go on the way to work, and they can grab something. And my guess would probably be the bacon, egg, and cheese. Because the bacon, egg, and cheese, that's a New York staple. That is a sandwich where it's always in high demand. It's what everyone eats over there. It's the classic go-to breakfast. So in the mornings, I'd have a lot of people come into the door, grab a quick bacon, egg, and cheese, and they take it to go, and that's it. But I do think our bacon, egg, and cheese would be a little bit more special if I could somehow take all the access to French ingredients I have here and bring it to the States. Most notably the bread, because the bread here is fantastic compared to the bread in the United States, right? You guys make excellent bread.
Oh, that's okay. That's not a myth.
Yeah, not a myth. No. The bread, French bread, no, nothing compares to French bread. And one of the rolls that we use, the bread that we use for our bacon, egg, and cheese, is we source our bread from a local boulangerie called L'Amour in Judaique, and they make excellent bread. They're an award-winning boulangerie, and they make this oversized English muffin for us that we can make our bacon, egg, and cheese with. So they make English muffins, these homemade English muffins, and they just make it 3 times larger for us so that we can fit it into a sandwich. And I think if we brought that over to the United States, that would be a big hit. Because Americans love English muffins, an egg sandwich in English, but it's really small. So it's never enough. But if we can make if I bring this in a large one over there, I think the bacon, egg, and cheese would be the biggest hit.
The rolls will do the difference.
Exactly. Mainly because of the bread, I would say.
Okay. And what is the most popular in France then, in contrast?
Right now is the Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, the Philly. Okay.
Philly cheesesteak is a huge hit. I mean,
which wouldn't be unusual in the US.
No.
But here is like, okay.
Yeah, and I think it's because, in French, you guys eat a lot of beef. You guys are really big fans of steak. So, if you have access to a big sandwich with, full filet and cheese and peppers and onions confit and a French baguette, I think...
which, by the way, I suppose in the audience, there's some Americans watching, like the filet mignon.
Yeah.
Is pork in France.
You have a filet mignon of beef, and you also have the filet mignon of pork as well.
Yeah, well, usually when we say filet mignon is...
c'est du porc. Ouais.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's nothing specified, it might be up for a bad surprise.
But now that you mention it, every time I've gone to a restaurant in France, I've never seen a filet mignon de bœuf on the menu. It's always, a faux filet or an anglais or,
there is.
entrecôte or something like that,
Yeah.
The same name could be, it could be tricky.
Yeah, that's funny. Right. I've never thought about that. Yeah, that's very true, especially in the States. You would never get a filet mignon of pork.
So now we're selling the dream about, we're talking about food. That's great. But before you got to do that, you had to open shop in the first place.
Yeah.
So I suppose you had to get yourself fight against the French administration, or at least try to have a bite into this as well. So how was it actually? Because coming from the US and trying to open a business in France, because you have a shop and all. So
I would say it's a long process. It's a very long process. There's a lot of administrative processes that you have to go through that take time.
How long did it take?
I came because before, well, I won't get into what I was doing previously in my previous job, but I wasn't living in France before. I had moved back to France in April, and when I came back to France, that's when we had the idea to open up, this food spot. And since April, we had been, looking for a location. There's a lot of formations that you have to do. There's, the achat WCP. It's simple hygiene, food and hygiene
Like the
course
FDA
that you
anyway.
need to take,
You have to
right?
take
to
online
receive a
and,
permit. We sell alcohol as well. We sell beer. So in order to have the licensing to sell alcohol, you have to get a permis d'exploitation. That was also another course that I had to take. I believe that was, I think it was I can't remember if it was the hygiene course that was really long. That was, I think, like an 80-hour course, something like that.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the permis d'exploitation
Like
is just like
six-ish month total. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then from there, once you do the formation, you need to find a location. And obviously finding a location in Bordeaux, in the center city, it's not easy, and there's limited availability. You have a lot of turnover with the restaurants, but once a place goes up for sale, it gets bought out just like this. So you have to be fast, you have to be reactive, and you have to be looking every single day. And then once you find the place, you have to go into negotiations with the person who owns the fond de commerce at that time. You have to make an offer, you negotiate, and then lawyers get involved. And,
Takes another 2 or 3 months to finalize the whole thing. Yeah.
So the paperwork itself is like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Then,
at least.
There's a lot of preparation.
I mean, and through the whole process, we started from April, and we made the purchase for the location that we found in November. So through that time period, we were working extensively, creating the société, opening a professional bank account, and managing that. Dealing with banks, I mean, you're all over the place with this process.
It keeps you busy.
It does keep you busy,
That definitely keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try this one. I'll have to read those, but I have like a set of quick fire questions. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be provocative because that's what we're here for.
Of course.
Paris versus Bordeaux. Who do you think has the best sandwich showdown? Could win.
Paris, not even close. Paris. I mean, it's the capital city. Going back to the subject of diversity that you have in New York City, for example, you kind of have a similar situation in Paris. You have people from all over the place, and it's also an international platform as well. So in terms
but you're not biased because you didn't say Bordeaux despite living there.
No. I have to be honest. I have to be honest. Bordeaux is a more niche city. And it's great. I love Bordeaux, but Paris, it's like I said, it's an international hub. So I think that permits a lot more concepts to come, you have a lot more variety in terms of the sandwiches you can have. I mean, they just opened up a new barbecue place as well where you can get these massive, pulled pork sandwiches. They do like barbecue with ribs and a wide variety of stuff.
Another American concept.
Yeah, exactly. Another American
I'm
concept.
telling you, the
coming
French are turning American. So we gotta, we have to be the ambassador of it. We have to be first in line.
Yeah, we got to jump on it. But
I've seen that. It used to be like 2 or 3% of French restaurants who had like a burger on the menu in the 60s.
Forget it now.
It's
all
like
over the
more
place.
than half.
Yes, I'd say it's probably 90% of the restaurants now.
There is a place which get a lot of attention also in Paris. It's a new mac and cheese place. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
It's they do 6 or 7 different type of mac and cheese, and they're originally from New York. They're New Yorkers. I don't know if it's the lady or the man. And they open in Paris, and they seems to have a lot of success with it. I mean,
there's quite a lot of Americans in Paris as well.
I mean,
and that's all they do, mac and
over,
cheese. 6 or 7 different type of. We do mac and cheese also at Deli. We do have 2 or 3 different type of mac and cheese. And it's new for the French.
And it's a big hit too. It sells very well. Yeah, it's definitely a big hit.
Okay, let's keep on this stroll of the being provocative. I don't know who I'm going to provoke more. Mayonnaise, brilliant or overrated?
For me, it's brilliant. I love mayonnaise. Mayonnaise goes with everything.
Yeah, I mean, mayonnaise, it's...
Some people don't like it.
No.
I'm not one of those, but...
I mean, for me, it's like it's the base of all sauces. It's like salt, mayonnaise. Because even now you have like aiolis, you have so many different sauces that it always starts with the mayonnaise, and then then they evolve.
A lot of them are mayonnaise based.
Yeah, exactly. So
whatever you call him, sauce cocktail or sauce whatever, it's still
there's mayonnaise in it. Every good sauce has mayonnaise in it. So brilliant, never overrated. Okay, mayonnaise is key.
Okay, so let's try to increase the difficulty a bit. Pancakes or crepes?
Oh, crepes. That's,
I go pancakes. I'm an American at heart, man. And pancakes, you know.
So that's where the father and son split.
Yes. Gotta have some junk in the
crepes.
trunk, man.
I mean,
a little bit of
I'll eat the
ipis.
pancake too, but you know.
Okay. So croissant versus bagels. Who wins?
Not much bagels in Bordeaux. There is a new place we just opened, bagel place, which they have decent, good bagels.
They're good bagels,
But
yeah.
the baguette is
I think the question is
Croissant,
I think the
croissant.
question is what do we prefer, right? Croissant or bagels? It's funny because I look at them both as two different things. A bagel is something that I would eat, something savory with, salmon and cream cheese, a bacon, egg, and cheese, and a bagel. Whereas a croissant.
Why the hole in the middle?
Yeah, I don't know. That's you gotta ask the founders for that one, but it's a staple. It's I guess if you look at it now, it was a great marketing technique because that hole is iconic now.
Then you have yes. I don't know. I never understood the hole.
I'll go with bagel. I eat more bagels than I eat more croissants. I eat more bagels than croissants.
So I don't know if there's gonna be French people watching, but maybe we can try to provoke them as well. So what's the best pairing in Bordeaux to have with a sandwich? Is that beer? Is that wine or a soda?
You want to go or should I go?
Well, I mean, for now, for what we saw so far, the soda is, or the Perrier soda or juices are the thing. A little bit of beer because we have Budweiser also because it's it's a typical beer, so we wanted to keep it American. So
But what about you? What's your preference? What do you
I'll
have
have a beer with my sandwich. I mean, I'll have
soda,
beer.
soda, man, a classic soda, bag of chips on the side,
We can see.
Yeah,
and then we go for drinks
Because
afterwards.
not for France. I mean, everyone says France is about wine.
Yeah.
But like north of France is about beer, and wine is the south of France. Usually.
But
Or Paris.
With the sandwich is more. Like we said,
it's more casual.
More casual,
Maybe we could try. Maybe we'll put a bottle of wine at the deli and see if see if French people want to have a glass of wine.
See
with
who
the
wins the
sandwich.
contest.
But,
Okay.
But so far, what we saw in general, people would just stop by to eat more of
Okay, let's try to maybe finish on this one. Who's your food hero? And maybe we can ask each of you, like, Sid, who's your food hero?
Food hero, this guy right here, man. Come on, this is where all the inspiration comes from, man.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Everything I know in a kitchen is thanks to this guy, and even not just from his Michelin background, but even from what I'm doing now, the deli background. I mean, he ran and owned a small market in Connecticut where he essentially had a deli, where all the sandwiches I'm doing now were, I stole his menu, It's as simple as that,
And every time when he was a student, every time he was in vacation, usually him, Sydney, and a couple of his buddies were in school together too. In the summertime, they used to get a job at the market. They were working the cash register.
So you were the man.
Sid used to work the deli and make sandwiches during the holiday. So he got trained
from the age of 16.
Bit.
I've been making sandwiches. So
instead, rolling around in the town, they were both working at the market, making a little money. In the summertime. Yeah. So that's what they learn.
Right.
All the thing.
And you, Marc, so who would be like kind of your food hero or the guy or guys who inspired you?
Well, I'm a man from the south of France, and I work in a restaurant, Michelin-Star restaurant in the south of France, and that's the cuisine I grew up with, and I work with, all that cuisine from the south, a lot of.
And is there any chef or chefs in
particular?
I mean,
Roger Verger was my inspiration, my mentor, Michel Rostand, which Gustave Flaubert, but originally from the south of France, Antibes, all the family Rostand. Joe Rostand in Cap d'Antibes was a 3-star Michelin. I was very good friend with his son, so we were very good buddy on the south of France. With the son of.
So it's kind of a Michelin-Star sandwich you're doing.
I mean, I grew up in that way of thinking, that way of quality, of using good product, versus mediocre. So that's also what we were doing. We were trying to put quality in our product. Even if it's a sandwich, it could be a good sandwich or a mediocre sandwich, you know, and we try to, you know, make sure that the product, we have a good quality stuff and not, you know.
And we apply that same motto with this deli that we're doing here now. I mean, all of our sandwiches are, you know, are homemade. They're used, you know,
From the bread,
we use
who come
fresh
from a
ingredients for
bakery
everything.
versus, you know.
Yeah, it actually makes me think of one thing, because you just talked about quality of food, which is very often this is one thing we're very proud of in France: the quality of the product, the variety of the products we're using, and especially if it's fresh, we're trying to source that
Local,
locally.
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so how do you manage to balance that kind of, I'd say, the American indulgence in sandwiches with the kind of quality, the food quality expectation of the French? Because like, I suppose most of the clients you have are French. So how do you balance that?
That's a great question. It starts with using quality ingredients, because like you said, in France, that's a high expectation. But at the same time, we also have to bring, you know, the American concept that we're doing, obviously. So with certain sandwiches, we've had to, you know, s'adapter a little bit with the French culture. You know, like for example, with our Philly cheesesteak, you know, we know how important bread is in France. So, you know, we use only a high quality baguette versus, you know, in the States, it's typically on what we call an Italian hero. Yeah. Which is I would say it's like a low quality pain de mie, you know, a low quality white bread that's in a shape of a submarine sandwich. Have you ever been to Subway?
Yeah.
That kind of bread, right? That's the type of bread that
very
we're dealing
sweet
with.
then.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Very industrial and quality-wise not great, but it gets the job done, right? At least for us in the United States. Here in France, we know that won't work. So we made a very large point to have good quality bread.
Because the French are going to judge as well.
Exactly. Exactly. You know,
so
even the way we present the sandwich, you know, for example, in the States, in terms of the way we present our food, it's not that big of a deal, especially in a takeaway, you know, type setting. We wrap it up. You know, you make a sandwich. It looks really sloppy. The cheese is dripping everywhere. You wrap it in a paper and you throw it out. You know, here the way we serve our sandwiches, even the way we wrap our sandwiches, it has to be a nice clean format. You know, we're using metal, wooden boards to cut them in half, toothpick inside of it, and you know, boom, send it out. You know,
We kind of touched base on this Michelin-Star sandwich.
you know,
A little bit of
right?
presentation, you know, when you get your food in front of you, you say, "Ooh, looks good."
Exactly.
You know, before you even taste it. So it's important.
But you still have to have.
We say
know,
you
the
hit it with
American
your
recipe.
eyes first.
Yeah.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, we're still serving American products, right? So it still has to be that classic American sandwich. So we try not to change the ingredients as much as possible, but we also want to make sure it's, you know, it's fait maison, it's homemade, we're using quality ingredients, and that's why we say we have the world's best Philly cheesesteak, because we have the liberty of using French ingredients. And we're applying, you know, the American recipe.
Well, if there's any Philly cheese steak enthusiast watching, you know where you have to try it.
Yeah, I mean,
Come see it for yourself, guys. Come see for yourself, yeah?
That's good. Well, Sid and Marc, thank you so much for being there today and answering all those questions. Before we wrap it all up, if people want to come to your shop or find you online, where can I meet you?
All right. So, well, we have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. And we also have a website.
Okay.
So, sidsdeli.fr.fr. You can find us. Sid's Deli BDX for Bordeaux on Instagram. You can find us. And, you know, we have our menu listed. We have photos of everything. And we also have some clips, some nice content that presents the concept in itself. So feel free to check us out.
Yeah, I've seen
if
the
not,
videos.
if you're on Facebook as well, we're very active on local expat groups. And we have a Facebook page as well that has all our information. And you can find us there.
Where are you located?
And we're located on 9 Rue Parlement Saint-Pierre, just in the city center, right near Place de la Bourse.
Yeah, good.
Great location. You know, it's especially at nights. It's where all the bars are. It's where all the nightlife happens, and we're open from noon all the way to 10 p.m. So whether it's you want to eat for lunch, whether it's in the afternoon, you forgot to eat and you're in a rush, you need to grab something to eat, could, you know, emporter, take away, you can find us. Or if you're having some drinks at the bar and you want to grab a quick sandwich in between your beers.
And whatever they speak French or English, then they're
You're
welcome.
Exactly, yep. On est francophone, anglophone, you know, we speak English, we speak French, we can accommodate people from all walks of life. We even speak a little bit of Spanish. So
Yeah, we do Spanish. We do, yeah.
yeah. So we're very internationally friendly, of course.
That is brilliant. Well, thank you so much, you two, for coming today. And I hope we'll see you soon.
Hey, likewise. I thank you for having us too. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks.